by the sound of violence.
Looking back at the trash talk that he's done, usually it was nasty, and he said some really nasty things to other people, but it didn't really cross that line that he crossed with Khabib and that he crossed with Dustin here. There was some gnarly race baiting with Jose Aldo, making fun of the favelas and making fun of his upbringing, and now saying that he now runs Rio, that he's the king of Rio now. That was pretty much uncalled for, but not the type of blatant rampant Islamophobia that he brought with his trash talk against Khabib, and the genuinely disgusting things that he said to Dustin Poirier about his wife and about his relationship with his wife and what he's going to do to him and to his family. It's it reeks of someone. It reeks of someone who's Sky Castle is just falling down all around them, and the walls are coming down, and the reality starts to sink in that you're not really all that now.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to yet another Sound of Violence podcast. We are an MMA podcast that talks about the MMA podcast you should catch, skip, and not miss each week. I'm just kidding. We don't do skips anymore. You know what the skips are. They live in Austin, mostly. That's right. I am Pulver, and I am back yet again with my co-host, Chris Medaffer. How's it going, man?
Not too bad, even though I'm on a time crunch, but it's all good.
That's right. I'll go ahead and let you guys know out the gate that since we're doing an early morning episode, Chris actually has canning duty here in a little bit at the brewery. So we have a hard out here in an hour-ish, so we're going to see what we can get in. But fingers crossed, we'll get through this motherfucker. But it's been a pretty good week of MMA podcasts, I would say, and I'm pretty hyped for the card tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm absolutely hyped for the main event tomorrow. I think it's going to be one of the better just bantamweight fights in general as far as stylistic matchup. And I know we'll get into it in a second, but the backstory behind it, I don't really think there's any kind of beef.
No.
But it's more just Sandhagen's yeah, this dude cheated. So
yeah,
he did what he did.
I mean, and TJ's basically doing the same thing this week, where he's like, I cheated
TJ's
the one
I
time.
fucking cheated.
One time, bro. Which,
just once.
Yeah, I always smoked weed once, too. I mean, it was the second before the show.
Did you inhale?
Well, yeah, because I'm not a pussy like Bill Clinton, but yeah.
Well, Bill Clinton's also habitual.
Well, he's a habitual a lot of things, to be fair.
Yeah.
But he's habitually problematic, we'll put it that way. Fucking any dude who goes on TV, any white dude who goes on TV playing sax with fucking sunglasses on, sus as fuck to begin with. Anyway, that's a weird way to start the show. We should kick this off, Chris, with our Doug's Papa. Fuck every time. Papa, it's fucking behind me. And I still can't get it right. Papa Vodka presents. Doug Stanhope presents our sponsor. What are you drinking this week?
So, my unofficial sponsor, I was about to say my sponsor, Jesus.
Your sponsor is basically the one you're going to go can for in a minute. Although, that's kind of the opposite of a sponsor, right? When you're actually just working for it.
So, this is unofficially brought to you by AleSmith's 394 Pale Ale.
Hey,
a
San Diego staple.
Staple of San Diego craft beer.
100%.
The reason why I conveniently have this awesome pint glass is because I got a kegerator for my birthday a couple weeks ago. A very awesome kegerator from my pops.
Yeah, shouts out to your pops.
Yeah. Set it up just the other day. and I went to Keg and Bottle, and then I was with my friend. I was like, damn, dude, I don't know what keg to get. And he's like, fuck it, we'll just get 394. I'm like, cool.
That's a good answer, always, yeah.
Yeah. So I have one. It's a 3 tap handle system. Don't know if I'm ever going to have 3 pony kegs in there at a time. That sounds a little much.
I mean, unless you're going real ham.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask my boss, of course, hey, can I borrow a keg?
Now you should get a nitro coffee keg.
I'm trying to figure out how I'd set up nitrous,
Oh,
though.
that's true.
Like
it's going to be
dangerous.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole ass thing. Good call.
Yeah. I'll probably get like a pale ale or like a pilsner or something like that, because it's hot as balls, too. So.
It's too hot for anything dark, which is going to make my sponsor real rough for this episode.
Yeah, can you imagine, like, I'm like at my house, people over like in the pool, hey, how about a nice beer on tap?
Yeah, you want some Zoom bar, bro?
Yeah.
I got this 10% coffee stout. It'll fucking...
Not only can you feel not refreshed, but now you'll be bloated and sweating.
And sweating so hard, yeah. Well, Chris, that's a perfect segue into the beer I'm drinking this week. I am drinking a beer from Oliphant Brewing that I got a while back on...
Wait, OnlyFans Brewing?
Not quite, bro. Oliphant Brewing. I'm not Aspen
like
Ladd's...
the actor Timothy
Yeah,
Oliphant?
I'm not Aspen Ladd's mom out here buying beers on fucking... Or so... That was an OnlyFans joke for the those who know. But Oliphant Brewing, I'm drinking the Go Bias, which I have to believe is an Arrested Development reference, right? Hold on. Definitely an Arrested Development reference, because this motherfucker's blue. This motherfucker definitely blew himself.
Move it more to your right, so I can see it.
Right. Because you're on the other camera.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. That's...
100%, right?
Go Bias. That's great.
Yeah, so, Go Bias Industries, I'm guessing. What I didn't realize, so I knew this was a coffee beer, and I knew it was a dark beer, did not realize it's a black ale, which I feel like is going to be somehow rougher.
Is that like a sports beer, in a way? I know it's a German black lager, but what the fuck's a black ale?
So, black ale could mean a lot of things, right? Like, it's not...
Black IPA.
It's not black IPA. I can tell you right now because I just tried it. It's definitely way more towards a sports beer. It's actually very much like a sports beer. That's fucking delicious, actually, and that's not very heavy because it is like it's basically like a Schwartz. It's like a really dark Schwartz. There's probably an actual like style definition for that, but that thing's actually fucking delicious and not as heavy as I thought it was going to be. So this is going to be a good episode. Although I should probably check ABV, right? Because that seems like something that will be a problem. 8%. Yep, that'll be interesting. Anyway, we are going to go ahead and jump right into format because we have all kinds of stuff to get to and not enough time to get to everything. So, Chris, you want to kick us off with the MMA podcast you recommend people catch this week?
Yeah, I'm going to go with something that I remember listening to just the other day but didn't write any notes. It's the MMA Vivisection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess technically when it comes to the vivisection, I should always do it for the preview part, but whatever. I'll at least just talk about and say their break.
Yeah, and I feel like we don't give them enough credit because it's one of those shows that I listen to every week, but like so much of what I hear in that show, I end up bringing up in like the breakdown segment that I should really credit that show more often because it's, first off, just goddamn fun. Like Zane Simon and Connor Rebush are just fun to listen to in general, and their breakdowns are hilarious.
So, I can't remember what they did. They had a really funny bit about Mickey Gall, who I had no idea was still in the UFC.
Yeah, not only still in the UFC, he like is consistently still fighting, which is weird.
Yeah,
I love Mickey Gall.
And then also Sajara Eubanks. I didn't know she was still in the UFC because I remember they had like that mass wave of cuts.
You were thinking of Shanna Dobson.
Oh,
which is racist as shit of you.
Well, I mean, they were both on the same season of Tough. I mean, that's my white man's rebuttal.
Yeah, and
you're still right.
I only know that you were thinking of her because I very briefly had the same exact thought. I was like, wait a minute, I thought, oh, right. And then I got bummed out again that Shanna got cut because I really like Shanna Dobson.
Yeah. So yeah, they briefly talked about the card. They went into good detail. It was clearly mostly about Sandhagen and Dillashaw, and then just the past stories. Very interesting stories of them sparring. You can look up photos of them with Team Elevation in Denver.
Yeah, they've worked together a decent amount.
What's up?
They work together a decent amount, from what I understand.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, look at this photo. Why is everyone pointing at Sandhagen, including Dillashaw, like they know this guy's the real deal. Not that TJ wasn't, obviously, but
Sandhagen
it was
wasn't
like,
unknown
a harken
then,
back to 5 years ago. Clearly they knew Sandhagen was going to be something.
I mean, you can you can tell with just that dude's frame and how developed he is, like across the board. Well,
And
except for wrestling.
The one fight, if I recall correctly, if they didn't mention it, it comes to mind, is when Sandhagen fought Lineker.
Yep.
His just very amazing ability just to find that liver, just with those fucking deep hooks to the body. Like, the dude's so quick.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And kind of he could frame up like this, but still like dig in by just kind of eliminating distance. Like, just get like almost like he's hugging you, but he could still like find that liver shot. I remember he actually clearly hurt Lineker at one point. Lineker was like in staggering back, and you don't really
Yeah, that was early on.
see Lineker hurt.
I would guess they probably did make that comparison because I didn't catch Vivi this week, but I know on Heavy Hands they did a lot of Lineker comparisons for this fight, which is like a weird but kind of like fair comparison, just because Lineker fights so different than TJ Dillashaw, but also
He keeps his fucking hands down, and swangs and bangs.
that, and like, but the one thing they do have in common is like if TJ's able to pressure Sandhagen the way Lineker was able to late in that fight, then that fight becomes very interesting, especially over 5. So, should be a banger. But we will get to that. Vivi sounds good, though. Anything else you got on that?
No, that was... I mean, I didn't write notes.
And we're also keeping it brief this week because we got a lot to get to. So, perfect, man. Let's see. So, one of my catches for this week is Severe MMA Premium, the news headlines... July 21st, which this is the show where Shawnee goes and looks at all the, or kind of does I like to say he does like an audit of the MMA headlines, but also just kind of like seeing what people are writing and like responding to it. And so the sites he looked at for this episode was MMA Mania, Sherdog, MMA Junkie. I'm not sure. I think he checked fighting MMA.
BJPen.com.
Hey, it's better than it used to be, man. I'll say that. That site's way better than it used to be. I think that I want to say he might have looked at MMA fighting also, but I'm not sure. And he just kind of did an audit of the headlines. It's really interesting, and I recommend listening to it. You'll hear, I will say, I'm not going to say who, but I will say Sean praises one outlet for writing articles he doesn't see a lot, and he also throws not shade at another outlet, but he's like, that's something we would never post on SevereMMA.com.
Let's call it criticism.
Well, it's not even that. It was just something that, like, he wasn't even being critical. He's like, that's not something our outlet would do. Like, very blatantly. And I appreciate that kind of insight and honesty about stuff out there. And he brought up a really interesting point, which is that there was almost zero top headlines on any of those sites about Makhachev. They were almost all still about Conor or like shit like that.
Yeah, by the way, now that you say that, fantastic performance by Islam Makhachev. Yeah. Also, a good performance by Thiago Moises. He even took down Islam. And you could see Islam was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Albeit being brief.
Yeah, and that was about all that worked for him in that fight. But
it was basically Islam's like, oh, congratulations. Now I'm going to just strong hand you and turn you over on your back because I'm that much stronger than pretty much everyone.
Yeah. And Miesha Tate also with a big win over Marion Renault.
Yeah, she's in incredible shape. That was crazy.
Yeah, she's been talking a lot about that, and I don't ever buy when fighters are like, I'm coming back, I'm in a totally different shape. Even if they look different.
She was serious.
But like, yeah, no, she like I don't know what she changed, whether she's lifting less and doing more distance running or what, but yeah, she looked really good.
Yeah, I saw something about a comment. I wasn't able to watch the broadcast.
I don't think. Well, real quick before you get to that, I don't think Marion Renault is a great test as to where Miesha Tate is actually at right now. Because also Marion Renault before that fight was saying it's her last fight, and that's always those always go weird.
She could have been checked out. I'm not taking that.
Well, they always go weird. Like whenever anyone's like, "This is my last fight," those fights are always weird.
So what was the deal with someone on Reddit mentioned like John Anik? You know, John Anik has his weird fucking comments that he probably shouldn't have said. He mentioned something about Miesha Tate nursing. It was one of those weird offhand comments where he's like, oh, it's like an advantage to her and her regimen because she's nursing her kid right now currently. And it's like, what?
I didn't hear it, but also...
I didn't hear it on broadcast because I didn't watch it.
I don't know.
Someone said that. And they were just calling out... Someone was calling out Anik for saying, dude, you should just stop saying weird shit that doesn't contribute to the commentary at all.
Yeah, but also dudes are way too sensitive about nursing talk, I will say.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. I will call everybody a shithead for that one. How about that?
Yeah, it's just a part of being a fucking
Well,
parent,
yeah,
regardless.
like, I don't know. It probably doesn't need to come up during a fight, but also dudes probably don't need to be so defensive about it coming up during a fight. Is generally my take on most of that shit. But anyway, yeah, Severe MMA Premium, the news headlines. Like, I fucking love that show, and I think that show is a real service to the just to the media community in general. Like, there should be more of that. There should be more of people talking about, like, hey, as a media in general for this sport, like, what is helping, what is hurting, and what is just noise. And I think that's a fun and fair conversation to have, and people should be having it more often in public rather than behind the scenes on some fucking board that maybe exists that never does anything. Shouts to Josh Gross still not having media credentials for the UFC. Who's by the way, the president of the MAJA, 0 credentials for the UFC.
That's just
how does that work?
Wrong. It's just ethically wrong.
Well, it's ethically fucking. I mean, when the. Fuck Dana White. Fuck Dana White.
Dana White today can take his deep fried Uncrustable and go fuck himself.
All right. Dana White, go spend more time with the Spearmint Rhino, bro. All right. On that note, fucking, it's gonna be a weird episode. Chris, do you have any other catches for this week?
We might as well say the Bunny Ranch. Yeah, catches. Let's see.
I feel like the bunny. No, I said Spearmint Rhino because that's where he got the stripper that he flew to Brazil.
Oh, true.
So that's just straight fact.
And then wasn't there like some sort of disparagement, like, or some lawsuit against? Or no?
Oh no,
he filed a lawsuit.
No, because that one guy tried to fucking blackmail him for flying his girlfriend to Brazil.
Yep. Okay, that's what it was. Anyways, other catches. I didn't. I read up a Jack Slack posted.
Also, wasn't that on the UFC company dime? I'm pretty sure that's how that came out. Anyway, go ahead. Oh, so Jack Slack, you were gonna say?
Yeah, he had a really good breakdown of the fight. I didn't
Episode
write
44. That's actually my catch as well.
Okay. After you mentioned that, I'll mention something else. It's not podcast related, but it's very much UFC related, and it's media.
I got you.
So I'll mention that.
Sure. So I got a couple notes on that Jack Slack episode 44 episode where he recapped Makhachev versus Moises. He talks about Brett Okamoto's smooth brain takes after the fight about how
he's a new Ariel. He's a new ESPN Ariel.
No, he's always been worse. Well, since he signed to ESPN, he's been worse than Ariel. Even when Ariel was there, Brett has always been the yes man of that situation, and it's just gotten worse.
I love how,
which sucks because dude, his show used to be kind of good. Like his podcast used to be kind of good before ESPN. Before
the 5 rounds.
Yeah, before the UFC joined with ESPN or partnered. His show used to be kind of good, and then he just like
who was that one guy though? His co-host or the guy that would remember he had all those terrible takes about like Mayweather.
That was just like some ESPN fucking. Schlop.
I just remember that we had banned speaking his name as well. Because every time Okamoto would be talking about a fight that has nothing to do with boxing, he'd be like, well, what if Mayweather fought him?
Yeah, well, or Conor. It was a Conor every time, too, yeah.
I remember that now. Okay.
Yeah, Brett Okamoto's old co-host very much has less funny vibes as Luke Thomas's co-host, BC. We'll put it that way.
The CEO of
Although,
TFK.
ironically enough, way less racist hand signals happening on Brett Okamoto's show than on Luke Thomas's. But... well, to be fair to Luke Thomas, I haven't gone back and audited his show since I tweeted that out. But I have heard that like Luke's like not. I don't know. I haven't heard him address it publicly, and that's not cool. Because he stares at a dude doing this at him in the fucking face. If you guys go back and look at the tweet I sent out, and that dude is very white and very thinking he's right.
He had all the tattoos on him too that looked suspect.
Yeah, it's problematic, bro. But it's MMA, so we don't talk about these things. We just let people do it on video in front of the entire world and then never mention it again.
No, bro, I just like Nordic runes and I love Thor.
Yeah,
I'm strong like Mjolnir.
No, bro, this the fucking Black Sun is definitely not just Nazi shit. Even though I clearly am a Nazi.
Japanese iconography, right? Also,
did you know in India swastikas are totally cool?
Also, by the way, I have the tree Yigstra deal. You know, is the 9 realms because the whites. I mean,
I have these 14 words. I mean, I have these words I want to tell you. Yeah, it's fucking bad.
Oh no.
Anyway.
And this is. I also have my favorite coffee, Black Rifle.
I love the Black Rifle, dude.
However, did you see what the owner?
Yes,
the owner.
but also when you spend your entire fucking career marketing to the people that you're now trying to distance yourself from, you did this to you.
It's just too. It's too late. Yeah, it's too little, too late.
But I will say,
it's better. It's better he does it now. Like it's good that he's just like saying fuck all these Nazis. I get it. That's good for him, but it's still too late.
Sure, but I mean, it's still Heil Black Rifle, right? Like 100%.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking about getting a gi with a red armband on it, like our boy Matt G. To be honest, just to support Black
That's
Rifle.
the thing. Out of curiosity, I kind of want to order some Black Rifle, but I don't want the red armband. I don't want that. No. Don't.
Well,
send that
the swastika packaging has got to be a tell in the mail. I don't know if I'm surprised they're still able to send it with all the swastikas all over the boxes they send, but I don't know. I guess where else are you gonna order SS coffee? You know what I mean, Chris?
Bro, it's just the starting point for a cartographer. Is that right? When you kind of like map shit, right? You know, it's like here's.
It's even worse than that. It's like something silencer or something like that.
SS.
Yeah, no, it's literally like something. It's like smooth silencer or something stupid like that. It's the fucking worst.
And it's a silver SS.
Yeah,
it's so
the fucking worst. They are straight up white supremacists.
Might as well just call it like Blitzkrieg. Fucking.
Yeah, no, 100%. Fucking crystal knocked coffee. Fucking white as the snow. Anyway, back to Jack Slack's podcast.
Blue-eyed roast.
Nailed it, bro.
Blue-eyed blonde.
I believe I have made the joke on Twitter before that it's weird.
Blue-eyed blonde roast.
I believe I have made the joke on Twitter before that all roasts out of Black Rifle coffee are secretly blonde roasts, which I still enjoy. Let's see. Jack Slag on episode 44 also talks about how the weird lazy narrative that everyone's ducking Makhachev when that dude's resume is not great, and like the only reason people are ducking him is because he's calling out fucking RDA, who's terrible at wrestlers, or like the ghost of Tony Ferguson. I don't know. I'm very unimpressed. Like he's managed by Ali, right? Because all the things he's doing sounds like Ali things. Like it's just the Conor McGregor model, but for Dagestanis is like what Ali's new thing is, where you just call out old dudes or you call out dudes who can't wrestle, and then you just to the bank that shit. You just cash machine go burr type shit. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's frustrating. He also talks on that episode whether Dillashaw was boxing on the baggage turnstile because he's on EPO and he had to slow his heart rate down at the airport.
He was boxing on the what?
So remember back in the day on one of those promo videos, TJ was hitting pads on the like the turnstile at the airport where you pick up your luggage.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
So Jack's like, I wonder if he was doing it because he's on EPO and he had to get his blood, his heart pumping more, which is a very funny take that I had not heard before. But honestly, maybe.
Sir, why are you doing mass amounts of push-ups in the loading zone area?
He also was like, wasn't he shadow boxing in the aisles of the plane during that thing too?
Mm-hmm, I think
that is very much EPO behavior, according to a lot of cyclists who set alarms to get up and run in the middle of the night so they don't die in their sleep.
I wonder if he was sitting next to Lance Armstrong on the flight.
I mean, to be fair, he was thinking about cutting off a ball. I heard just to really get aerodynamic like Lance. Oh, that's a bad joke.
That is kind of shitty joke.
To be fair, Lance Armstrong's a piece of shit human being, so I don't feel that bad about it. That motherfucker conned millions of people out of money for cancer research, so fuck that idiot. Let's see. Dillashaw versus Sandhagen talk. Talks about Dilly's like double leg where he hits that step over. That he's like pretty well known for, and when he talks about also something that I heard the other catch that I have this week I'll bring up, but when both fighters switch stances a lot, it makes for really chaotic exchanges because when you're switching stances but your opponent is not, you always know where strikes are coming from. But when both of you are switching stances, no one knows where strikes are coming from unless you're really, really good at it. And so it leads to a lot of like car crash like collisions, I think is how he explained it. And yeah, I think that's what's going to make this fight really interesting is when they start doing weird shit. Like, when both of them switch stances at the same time, or like, I think Ed Gallo said this week, like, when they both, like, circle out to the same side after throwing a strike. Like, there's going to be a lot of weird, like, footwork exchanges in this fight.
So what I get out of that is John Jones' next fight needs to be against a switch fighter.
John doesn't switch that much, though.
Clearly he's with... Well, you see what I'm getting at? He's good in car crashes, so...
Oh, sir!
I mean... Sorry.
Oh, man, I did not get that at first. I'm glad you doubled down on it. And, yeah, you nailed that. That's,
all right.
Well done.
Yeah, and remember, John Jones needs a year off. He needs a year off to prepare for Ngannou. Yeah. Prepare.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he needs a year off because Dana's not
fighting. He's never in fighting Ngannou.
I don't know that he's fighting again. How about that?
I know he's probably not. And as
I don't think Dana's going to pay him what he's
not
worth.
Fighting. John Africa is not fighting Francis Gano.
Oh my god.
Who the hell is John Africa?
Also, I just realized on the stream it looks like I'm wearing a UFC shirt. I'm not wearing a UFC shirt. I'm wearing a John Jones versus John Jones hardcore casual shirt. So just for the record, because I just realized it looks like I'm wearing. I've never bought a piece of. Oh, that's not true. I bought one piece of UFC gear in my life, Chris. You know what it is?
The Diaz brothers or the Habib time?
No. Oh fuck! I don't have it behind my. I used to have it right here on my desk. I don't know where it went. I bought the. I don't know where they went. I bought at the beginning of the pandemic while Dana White was talking shit on masks and saying I don't give a shit about the coronavirus. I bought the UFC masks because I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. That like it was the same week that they put up UFC masks that Dana White said he doesn't give a shit about the coronavirus. So I was like, oh, I'm definitely buying that because that's the goddamn hot dog brander of 2020. Yeah. But that's the only UFC product I've ever bought. I guess I bought a pay-per-view once or twice and tickets to a show once. But anyway. Let's see. Do you have any other catches for this week?
I have some other media you can catch that's UFC related, but it's not a podcast, B.
Why don't we... Yeah. How good is it? Is it catch-worthy?
It's catchworthy.
All right, what
it's
is
solid.
it?
It's one of the best seasons yet.
Oh no, is it tough?
It is tough.
Holy shit! You're that guy, huh?
Mm-hmm. I am that guy, pal.
Dude, I actually have heard they're all like very sweet. Like everybody's very sweet and nice.
Yeah, that's the thing that's so interesting. There's not really any fabricated beef or like forced
Thank
beef
God.
right now, except for Ortega is just trying to be like, yeah, Volkanovski needs to shut the fuck up, bro. And he's like trying to be all hard and shit.
Yeah.
Because Volkanovski said one thing, and it's like, okay.
Also, Volkanovski's not the dude to look hard against because he's just gonna no sell you forever. Like you're just gonna look like a big blowhard.
Yeah, Volkanovski is like, yeah, this dude's just fake as shit, and I can't wait to slap him up. That's basically all Volkanovski's saying. But no, it's a fun season because all the matchups have been bangers.
Yeah.
Like all straight bang, especially with the bantamweights.
Really?
And a lot of the middleweights, there's one guy named Cameron Lichanov or something like that. He's a decent jiu-jitsu practitioner. Striking needs a lot of work, but his chin is like fucking insane, right? Like, dude, at one point in the fight, he literally went like this, and he just started walking like a zombie, and his opponent was punching the shit out of him, and he fucking ate a naked head kick, shin on jaw, and I was like, ah! He just started like,
Jesus, he just literally Chris Lieberning
and his opponent was kind of like, what the fuck is going on? And he's just
terrifying.
Like, yeah, there's that, and then but the bantamweight fights have all been good. I know I finished episode 6. I think there's been 8 total ones, but a lot of the guys on the show are real teammates, so that's kind of a fun, conflicted kind of. There's so 2 opponents that are fighting in the next episode I'm about to watch. Train at Michael Chiesa's gym in Spokane.
At fuck, why can't I remember Rick Little's gym?
I don't know. I know.
Sick Jitsu?
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a fun season. It's fun.
Interesting.
The Chiesa was a guest coach as well.
I was gonna ask if there's any guest coaches showing up.
so far, and it's a solid. It's not like an amazing season as far as like nothing will top season 5. I don't think. But what is cool is the production. Yeah. You know, BJ, Jens Pulver.
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you're gonna pick two people,
the thing I like is the production value is fucking amazing.
Really?
Compared to obviously just even like a couple years ago.
So I've never heard anybody say that because everybody else just says it looks identical.
No, they're lying.
You mean quality of cameras and shit, or
yeah?
Okay, so you're saying like they're probably using the ESPN fucking depth of field cameras that they use starting the shit, right?
I just think everything looks better, and what I like too is like every episode they have here's classic moments in Tough.
Oh, okay.
And one of them was like Adam Sella getting knocked out, dying from Uriah Hall.
Right. Or like fucking Tom Lawler knocking out a dude that asked him to knock him out.
Yep. They haven't showed that one yet, but they keep showing the preview for that.
Okay, I figured it was on there.
Preview of Ken Shamrock going, "Oh yeah, Tito, making me really mad."
Is that the I'm gonna beat you into living death clip with the chair? I think so.
The one they just showed was when those two guys. It was on season 5. They fight outside in the backyard.
Oh yeah.
And he like pounds his head into the ground. Yeah, and Dana's like, "You guys are both off the fuck show."
And he kicked the third dude off too for encouraging it.
Yeah,
I think.
instigating it. Yeah. And of course, the first clip they showed is Connor calling TJ "little snake in the grass right there."
Lazy. I'm surprised they haven't shown any Jesse Taylor kicking out limo.
Oh no, I think that's coming.
I don't know if they'll bring up Jesse Taylor, considering that dude's just done not great. Like that dude's just failed drug tests and
he popped. Yeah.
And remember, didn't he pop again after coming back for the redemption season?
Well, he won the show
and then popped. Yeah, that's what it was.
It's like, oh, okay.
Fucking brilliant move by Jesse Taylor. Oh boy. Well, okay. On that note, let's see. My last catch for this week is the Fight Site MMA podcast, episode 58. A lot of this they covered a lot of similar stuff that Jack Slack podcast talked about with how weird the exchanges are going to be between Dillashaw and Sandhagen. They also talk a bit about Makhachev's win over Moises and how the rankings are a complete joke. You know Makhachev's ranked number 5 right now?
I saw that.
How? He's not fought anyone near a ranking ever.
Habib time, that's what.
Well, Ali time is why, I would argue. But yeah, same thing, really. Yeah, they talk about how Moises was clearly protective matchmaking because they just gave Makhachev another dude who he clearly would out wrestle.
Really quick, who do you think Makhachev even fights next? I think he'll fight like
who's the biggest name that can't wrestle?
RDA?
Yep. I mean, they're already trying to pitch it.
That'll happen.
It's going to happen because RDA will take that fight.
Michael Chandler's going to fight Justin Gaethje.
Chandler wants nothing to do with Makhachev, which fair because he shouldn't. Even off a win over RDA, he shouldn't want anything to do with that. He's still way up in the rankings compared to Makhachev. It's a dumb matchup. Like,
and
also I think Makhachev might win just because Chandler fucking gasses. Like that's a very real thing. But like,
what is Chandler gonna have to do? Catch him clean?
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, he has to clip him in the first round probably.
Yeah. Which it's possible.
Super possible. Chandler hits hard as fuck and is way better striker. But also, Chandler gasses super fucking hard, and especially against wrestlers.
I'll say this: give me Tony versus Nate at welterweight, please. That's what I want.
I would like that. That'd be fun.
At welterweight.
Yeah, don't make them cut weight.
5 rounds. That's
however rounds they want.
No, it's 10 rounds then.
Okay, well no, they both want. Okay, you're right. It's gonna be like 30. It's gonna be till the death. If we let them decide the number of rounds. I normally would say let the fighters pick the rounds, but you're right. In this case,
I saw a rumor that it's like Kamaru's just gonna pick Nate for his next title defense. I don't think so. I think he's still fighting Colby. Obviously,
I don't think you can sell that.
No, you can't sell it at all.
Well, actually, that's not fair because what does sell it mean? It doesn't matter. They get a guaranteed amount from ESPN regardless on the pay-per-view. So you don't really have to sell anything. But I don't think it's worth the money they're going to have to pay Nate to make that happen. Let me put it that way.
And I think Dana already said that Kamaru's fighting Colby.
Well, and when they can get Colby to fucking take a third of the money, if not a quarter of the money that Nate Diaz would, they're gonna do that, or anyone else, for that matter.
Yeah, like even if they pay Colby,
they'll give fucking Makhachev a title shot for fucking
like,
50
cool.
grand. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's fucking. We are no longer in the era of matchmaking. We are in the era of who can you book the cheapest, and that shit sucks.
Just call them penny fighters.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, let's see. So some other stuff on the Fight Site MMA podcast, episode 58. They talk about Lamos's big KO over the Scarf Hole woman, whose name I do not remember. But that was pretty nasty. Despite Keith Peterson's fucking...
Oh.
Not Keith Peterson, was it?
And what'd you think of Waleed?
Chris Tione? Whichever ref had the very weird...
It was Chris Tione.
Yeah, the very weird post-fight thing.
What'd you think of Waleed?
I hate Waleed Ismail. I absolutely hate every time he's allowed on mic. Yo, your job is not to be a manager on the microphone. Your job is to translate what the fuck they said. If you can't do that job, they should bring somebody else in to do your fucking job. I fucking hate that Waleed is able to just say whatever the fuck he wants.
Brazilian here, all she talked about is how much she loves her family.
Every single time, I generally will go to like a Guilherme Cruz or Fernando Proces's Twitter to see what they actually said, because they will actually translate what the fuck they said. Waleed Ismail just is Ali, but since he speaks a different language, everybody lets him say whatever the fuck he wants. It's like if Ali was able to do Kamaru Usman's post-fight speeches. It's fucking insane, and it's embarrassing. And it should not be happening on a world-class stage.
Oh, it's terrible. Look.
It's so embarrassing. And the fact that they just let him do it and don't say shit, like, yo, they bring in translators they hire translators. If your fucking manager is not translating, then they should be bringing in an actual translator. But, Waleed Ismail is fucking an insane person who will assault you, so you let him do what he wants. MMA sucks. Anyway.
No, let's cover boxing.
Yeah, it's way less problematic. Oh, God. It's brutal. Okay, wait, I just saw the time. We gotta fucking keep moving.
Let's
yeah. So lastly, on the Fight Site MMA podcast, they talk about the Sandhagen Dillashaw and how it's gonna be weird fighting the feet. I already kind of talked about it earlier. Chris, do you have any can't misses this week?
I mean, I missed a lot.
Okay. Well, I've got a great can't miss, which was our clip on the intro, which is from Tengridome, episode 16. This is the Conor McGregor hate cast, I believe is what they titled it. It is two men along with Trayvon Coker, who's an amateur fighter, and Haxerized, and they basically talk about how it's time to stop giving Conor McGregor credit necessarily. Like the biggest thing that stood out to me in what they talked about is they said everyone always gives people credit, or everyone always gives Conor credit by default that he's been nothing but good for the sport, because Conor was great for the sport because he brought all these eyes and he brought all this. But if you think about the fact that he held up two divisions for half a decade, and that it kind of ruined the divisions, it's ruined a lot of the up and comers in the divisions. A lot of people who should have had title shots never got them. A lot of people who should have had big fights never came to pass.
Tony
Ferguson is one of the biggest examples, but I mean, there's a lot.
Should have been crowned champ.
I mean, Poirier for a long time, Gaethje for a long time. A lot of these dudes who were. Michael Johnson is another dude who all these dudes who the two, and that's just 155. 145 was fucked forever. Max Holloway's career was very weird because of Conor McGregor, along with Jose Aldo's career was very weird because of Conor McGregor. Frankie Edgar's career got very weird because of Conor McGregor. It's very frustrating, and when you not only combine that he held up those two divisions for so long, but on top of that, he also just brought some of the most toxic fans into the sport of all time, and some of the most toxic media coverage of all time, some of the most toxic people of all time. It's hard to argue at the end of all that he was what does eyeballs mean in comparison to how the culture of the sport changes? Because it's definitely gotten worse.
So those are all very good points, and what's sad is there is an alternate timeline or multiverse where Conor McGregor trains at American Top Team, and he's not a piece of shit. That's great.
Or I heard Shots Fired this week speculate like what would have been like if Conor would go train at fucking hard at Sanford MMA with Henry Hoof, like even part time like Luke Rockhold. Like,
dude, he would even be better. Like, he's already...
Or anywhere would someone would wrestle him, for fuck's sake. Or throw leg kicks.
It's the same narrative with John Jones. Not that Conor McGregor's dominant... Because Conor McGregor's dominance was at 145. Let's get that straight. Oh, like, he was an insane person at 145.
And at this point, I think there's no debate at all that Conor McGregor's run at 155 is... he's 1-5, and the only fight he won was... the RDA, or I mean the fucking Eddie Alvarez fight, which was short, which was like a replacement.
It was impressive.
It was super impressive, but also Eddie Alvarez is the worst style matchup for Conor McGregor. No. Other way around. Conor McGregor is the worst style matchup for Eddie Alvarez because Eddie Alvarez shifts at range, and that is exactly how you get sniped with a left hand over and over again. That shit was always going to go pretty... unless Eddie could just get him on the cage and hold on to him for a round and a half, and then Conor be fucked, as we now realize. It's very interesting, and like I really liked a lot of the topics they got into in this. They talk about everything from Conor consistently regressing in both skill and aura over the years. Like his only win since 2016 is against the Ghost of Cerrone. Which, like, that win looks worse and worse with time, as I immediately thought it did afterwards, as you remember, because I was over at your place when we watched that shit, and I was just, like, bummed the fuck out. I was like, oh, this is going to suck for, like, 6 months to a year. They bring up a lot of interesting points, like the large disparity between what Conor deserves for what he brought promotionally versus what he deserves for what he brought as a fighter, especially, like, after 2016. He didn't bring much as a fighter, to be honest.
Yeah, no.
Like, he pretty much just brought press conferences. And so it's... And I know a lot of this is going to sound like, oh, I'm being a bitter fuck. I sounded like this before the Jose Aldo win. So I don't know if that makes it more or less credible. It's kind of just how I've sounded. Is I always said he gasses and he can't handle wrestlers.
So have you always been a homeless cat because you're a hater?
I mean,
you do not matter.
Yeah, I don't matter, B. I literally don't matter. It's just it's very frustrating. As you heard on the intro clip, Iggy said it. I phrased it the best. Is like all the really gross, desperate trash talk is just getting worse and worse from Conor. Number one, because he's drinking and doing too much coke, which does not make you more witty. As a dude who drinks too much. I'm telling you, if you add coke to it, oh boy, do you sure get less funny. Shouts out to an old Pride episode, or an old Ryzen episode we probably did a commentary for a couple of years ago. But not only that, it's unsustainable, and it's just it's gotten gross and dumb, and like. They do get into some stuff about D in this, which like, and how Conor reflects on that. I don't know. It makes me kind of uncomfortable, so I don't like.
Yeah, I can't comment on that. That's
and it's like, I don't. I think it's so outside the scope of like.
Not my business.
Exactly. It's so, and like they have some decent points, but like also it's so outside the scope of what I care to talk about. So I will give that one disclaimer on that because like I don't know, some of that stuff made me a little uncomfortable, but. More specifically, though, just like the John Kavanaugh being a fraud stuff and like
a fucking charlatan.
A great example. Another great thing they brought up is Conor's cheating is both ineffectual and just the result of him getting desperate, not having answers.
He's not even good at cheating.
Well, no, because all of his cheating just leads to him getting beat up worse. Like he doesn't cheat to get out of bad positions. He just cheats to like get hurt less. And even then, it's like, oh, hold on to the glove so I can't get up more. I don't know. It's really, it's dumb. So, I don't know. I really liked that episode, though. And I thought they had some stuff that needed to be said. Because a lot of people are talking too much about Conor and not talking honestly enough about what he actually contributed. Like, I actually heard multiple people this week say, oh, well, Conor's been great for the sport, though. And, like, I think we, as a whole, need to really start thinking more deeply about that as an idea. Because I don't think it...
He was great for the sport.
He was at one time.
He was an icon. Transcended the sport, really.
Yeah, at one time, but I don't think that time is around anymore. Yeah. And also, the amount of damage he did needs to be applied to the amount of good he did as well. Shouts to multiple fights getting canceled, multiple cards getting canceled, multiple fucking all kinds of trash. So, and just people being the worst. Shouts to Conor McGregor fans. I hate most of you. Anyway, Chris. Right. What we should do. Here's my plan. So I have a bunch of honorable mentions, but I'm gonna get to those after you have to go. So what we're gonna do is why don't we very quickly play this clip for this break? I'm going to go pee, and then we're going to quickly talk about this card for like 10, 15 minutes.
Should I just keep this shit rolling?
Yeah.
I'll just be back anyway. There's no point doing a part 2. Okay, I'll be right
back. So,
back.
hold on. Let me play this clip. Also, Chris, you need to hear this clip, so we'll see how that's going to work. You know what? I'll play the clip twice, so you can listen to it the second time. And we'll be right back. We're going to very quickly walk through this card, and then I'll come back at the end and talk about some honorable mentions that I got. So, we'll be right back.
Liked by the sound of violence.
Yeah, I took Michel Pereira. No, I took Nico Price here. I actually sprinkled on him as a dog. It's weird. It's like, does Michel Pereira either like, does he keep up this streak 3 in a row? Fighting smart for him, or do the crowds bring back the Chaos Reigns gift that's appropriate for this fight? Shouts to the Antichrist. Ooh, that's another fucked up movie I can assign somebody. Hey, Chris Medaffer, you listen to you ever watch Antichrist? I'm gonna fucking terrorize the Sound of Violence guys with that movie now. Anyways, but yeah, chaos is gonna reign here. So whether Pereira fights conservative or not, I'm gonna go with weedless Nico Price to go nuts because he's been weedless all camp and cut it out. And now, as he shows up for fight week, the NSC's like, yeah, we're just gonna stop with all that shit, despite threatening y'all for 5-year suspensions. We're gonna go the other way. So I'll go Nico Price. Spring break forever.
marked by the sound of violence.
Yeah, I took Michel Pereira. No, I took Nico Price here. I actually sprinkled on him as a dog. It's weird. It's like, does Michel Pereira either like, does he keep up this streak 3 in a row? Fighting smart for him, or do the crowds bring back the Chaos Reigns gift that's appropriate for this fight? Shouts to the Antichrist. Ooh, that's another fucked up movie I can assign somebody. Hey, Chris Medaffer, you listen to you ever watch Antichrist? I'm gonna fucking terrorize the Sound of Violence guys with that movie now. But yeah, chaos is gonna reign here. So whether Pereira fights conservative or not, I'm gonna go with weedless Nico Price to go nuts because he's been weedless all camp and cut it out. And now, as he shows up for fight week, the NSC's like, yeah, we're just gonna stop with all that shit, despite threatening y'all for 5-year suspensions. We're gonna go the other way. So I'll go Nico Price. Spring break forever.
All right, we are back. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I stepped all over our bit.
We do that every time, though. Remember? Because we just flip.
Well, also, we are in a hurry because Chris has like 10 minutes. But very quickly, before we get into this card, Chris, how'd you like that clip from Protect Your Neck preview of...
So, it was good. And speaking of that movie, Antichrist, starring Willem Dafoe,
yeah.
he's the only person in it.
You hear the sound coming deep down
I
that old Bobby
don't-
Peru.
I don't have a problem with horror films. That I've watched some great horror films, right?
Uh-huh.
But for some reason, anything with like satanic shit, that fucks me up.
Too many years in Catholic school?
Nothing to do with that. It's mostly just to do with like that. It's. I think it's because when it comes to just a lot of those films, like I saw part of the Witch, which also is creepy as shit.
Mm-hmm.
At any time, it's like there's a character and it's just nothing but black or darkness around him, and you hear like whispering. That just fucks me up.
Yeah, like The Ring and shit like that.
Good filmmaking, though. That's what that means. That's good directing.
Yeah.
Like that, it's a great film, but it's like I know I'm having some bad dreams because all my mind is fixed on is like. Or some shit like talking about whatever the fuck evil shit, and so.
Well, then I think you definitely have to watch Antichrist just so you can see the fox and the chaos reign. I can't even hit it as deep as Dan Tom did on that. It's beautiful. You should check it out.
Yeah, I'm down to watch it. I'm probably gonna not watch it alone though.
Fair. That's fair. You know what? I haven't.
Because I'd probably be like this. Pause.
Oh, it's a daytime movie for sure.
Oh yeah, no, the lights are on.
No, yeah, you know what? I haven't watched that thing in like a decade, so maybe we'll do a on and off week where stuff is slow. Maybe we'll do a reaction to that for part of our episode. That'd be fun. Anyway, we should get into this card though, because this is a banger, and we have like 5-10 minutes to get through it. Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. This is going down tomorrow night in Vegas, and
Do you want to start from the top?
yeah, let's start from the top. And we'll see how far we can get.
Yeah. So we got Cory Sandhagen versus TJ Killashaw. Fuck the rankings. Cory Sandhagen is a championship level fighter. I don't know where he currently trains, if I'm honest.
I thought he's still at Elevation, isn't he?
Okay, he's probably still at Elevation.
I think so.
Yeah. Out of Denver, Colorado. TJ Dillashaw, I believe, is just with Bang Ludwig, wherever they're at.
And he's
also in Colorado.
Is he still with Body Shop?
I don't know.
Because I know he's with the Body Shop with McKee and
Train, or those guys with
they all cross train with like Mark Munoz's.
Yeah. 111.
Yeah, exactly. Adrian Nahara, actually, the dude from down here.
Snake Bill Salesman, Sam Calavita.
Yeah.
That fucking idiot.
But like, there's some those dudes are really like super talented. That team.
Oh, I know.
And like, I don't know. I think we've gone over this, but Adrian Nahara, I went to school with him and his brother. And he was the dude who got the fucking meme-worthy fucking mouthpiece flying knee shot on Bellator prelim card. If you saw that, like I think last year or so, maybe a little bit more than that. But anyway, yeah. So this should be a fucking hell of a fight, man. I think a lot of this comes down to what TJ Dillashaw shows up. Like, if TJ Dillashaw has 2.5 rounds of cardio, I don't. Oh, Matt G in chat, what's good, my guy? If TJ Dillashaw has 2.5 rounds of cardio, I don't know how that shit goes.
I think TJ Dillashaw is gonna have to wrestle. I know he can dart in and probably get Sandhagen with a couple good, like, kind of slip shots. But I really like Sandhagen. He has an amazing jab. It's quick. He has a very good hook to the liver. He knows how to find that. See the Lineker fight, as well as the I think Moraes fight before he finished him with that spinning heel kick. I like Sandhagen in this fight, and it's not just because TJ's been gone for 2 years, but just how much bigger he is than him. The footwork battle, similar to that Cruz Dillashaw fight. And even if TJ gets it to the ground, I like Sandhagen's jiu-jitsu skills and how much longer he is than him.
Yeah, the only thing that makes me nervous, well, so if I think TJ can wrestle like he used to for 4 rounds, then I would pick TJ.
He can
right
get a
now.
decision. Yeah.
I don't know that he has that cardio off EPO, or the confidence. Also, I think that is like a lot of wrestling. I think Matt G in chat will attest to this. A lot of wrestling takedown endurance is just having confidence to keep doing it, that you're not going to die. And I think a lot of that might go away when you stop doing EPO. This is a pure speculation on my part, but it sure feels like it might go that way. So I think that makes me nervous. And the other thing that makes me very nervous is Cory Sandhagen's intercepting knees and uppercuts. With the way TJ ducks and the way and slips in the pocket, I'm like very nervous that TJ gets too comfortable and slips right into a fucking knee.
I think that's what's happening. I got Sandhagen by knockout. Honestly,
yeah,
I think he's gonna catch him. I think if it's not that a knee to the head, it's gonna be knee to like the solar plexus or something. I think it's gonna be a liver shot, and I can't remember the last time if TJ's ever been finished by a shot to the body.
I think Dodson is the most. Did Cejudo start going to the body? Cejudo started going to the body, right? He didn't finish him with it, but he went to the body hard against CJ, and that's what started finding him success, if I remember right. Also, Matt G in chat, Matt Goya saying TJ's ego makes him bang against Sandy KO in the second. I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think that's a very, very likely.
I like Sandhagen TKO round 2.
Yeah, I actually like that a lot too.
Can TJ Dillashaw finish Sandhagen? Yeah. I mean, TJ Dillashaw has really good volume striking, hits decently hard.
Well, and if TJ had two things. If TJ's chin and TJ's cardio are still around, I think he absolutely hangs in there and probably wins a decision. But if either of those are at all not what they used to be, I think he's fucked in a big way. Also the jab of Sandhagen in range.
It's gonna be the jab, dude, in the range.
Yeah, if Sandhagen,
I think it's gonna look like Rob Font versus Garbrandt. With that certain mix of wrestling too, I kind of see that fight being similar, but with this one being a finish for Sandhagen.
Yeah, I agree. And Matt has a good point in chat where he says he thinks a lot of TJ's defense isn't bad down the middle. It's more the stuff that comes around the sides, which makes sense because of how much he shifts and moves his head and tries to step off.
He shifts, and when he kind of dips down, it's like right here on the side is exposed, and because he doesn't really shell like this.
Yeah, and Matt
sometimes he does. When he kicks, he shells.
Yeah, and Matt
when he goes for like a head kick, he shells.
Yeah, Matt brought up another good point, which I think I heard on I want to say Heavy Hands maybe. Or maybe it was the Fight Sites MMA podcast, which shouts to Matt because he would know. But Barrow, he said Barrow caught him a couple times with counter hooks as TJ, while TJ was drowning him, which 100%. And TJ is very susceptible to getting hit when TJ's if you think about the Cody exchanges, TJ got hit a lot in those Cody exchanges. It's just Cody had his hands down at his waist and was just fucking flailing. And so TJ could more consistently clip him. Anyway, we need to keep on moving on because.
So I will say this: I can only maybe do one more fight. Just choose one.
Since my favorite fight on the card fell off, which was Macy Chasson versus Aspen Ladd, that dropped off because Macy couldn't make weight. So Chris, I will let you pick. Mine would probably be Macy Barber, Miranda Maverick, but it's up to you. Kyler Phillips, Helen Paiva is super solid also.
Now let's do Macy Barber, Miranda Maverick.
Miranda Maverick's better wrestle fuck Macy Barber, bro.
I think so.
Macy Barber is about to get wrestle-fucked.
I remember when I saw Maverick. I was about to say
Invicta,
Maverick.
right?
Jesus. No, she fought. What's her face? Let me look at the.
Well, while you're doing that, Matt's asking how did Dodson get TJ? If I remember right, it was.
I think he clipped him on like the top of the head, or like
it was
temple.
right behind. Yeah, it was right behind the ear, but it was
And
off
it
a
was-
step back
TJ
counter,
kept-
if I remember right, with a
Yeah.
giant hook, which kind of actually.
And TJ kept saying, no, that's early stoppage, because he was like immediately getting up to his feet.
"Oh my God, Matt G, why would you?" Okay, Chris, while you look this up, I'm gonna do.
Oh, Jillian Robertson. Yeah, Maverick just wrestled the shit out of her,
And she's
just
a
kept
much
jabbing
better
her from
wrestler than
range.
Macy Barber.
Liana Jojua is the fight comes to mind to me, because Maverick has very dangerous in the clinch, has very disgusting elbows.
Yeah.
She just fires him down the center line.
Well, and she also is just like she will just go out and bang. Like she will make shit ugly and she will wrestle the fuck out of you. And I think that's exactly what Macy Barber does not want at all ever.
Macy Barber's striking is very violent and she hits very hard, but it's kind of like that outside I don't want to say no technique, but she kind of like has those kind of almost like a darting hook, kind of like my chin's right here and I'm just gonna like fucking hit you as hard as I can.
Right, she stays way outside of range and then throws wild shit at range, like into range, and then
I think Barber's gonna come into like a fucking like some sort of elbow, because even Maverick went like that, like one of those darting, like you stab someone with your elbow. She's probably gonna break Barber's nose.
I really think what's going to happen very quickly in this fight is Miranda Maverick's going to catch a kick from Macy Barber and just run the pipe and take her down and just pummel her for the entire round. Macy Barber's going to come out lacking confidence, and that same shit's going to happen, except she's going to throw a naked low kick and get dropped like she did in the last fight, and then also get pummeled on the ground the whole round. And then if she makes it through that, we'll see. But I, in a big way, I think Miranda Maverick just absolutely manhandles Macy Barber. I just don't think her grappling is up to the par of Miranda Maverick's, and even if it is, I don't think she can sustain scrambles long enough to be able to actually make it work. So, yeah, that's my big take on it. I know you got to run, right?
Yeah, I gotta.
Cool, so I will go ahead and let Chris go. Boy, I wonder if I have... Oh, I do have a solo setup. Hell yeah. Oh, I wonder how gross my room is in the background that you guys are going to see. Oh, it's not that bad. Since I'm about to change the aspect ratio, so you guys are going to see the uncut version.
Well,
I'm going to let Chris run. Chris, thank you very much. It's been fun.
Sorry, you guys.
Good luck canning, and we will be back next week, probably Thursday, Friday-ish, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know tonight.
Yeah.
I'll text you.
Cool.
So.
Our goal is, Thursday. We're trying to do Thursday, Fridays again to get back on a more regular schedule.
Yep.
So thanks again, Chris.
All right, well, everyone, enjoy the fight card tomorrow. That main event's going to be absolutely awesome. I hope so, at least.
Yeah.
So.
Fingers crossed. Right. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
All right. Let me switch over to... Let me see if this will work. Matt G, saving it. Hey, Matt G, you can probably hear me now. Matt G, single-handedly saving the show. I'm not still on mute. Go fuck yourself. You can definitely hear me. If you can't hear me, I will fight you right now. I will get omoplotted in a minute. Can you really not hear me? Okay. Perfect. Let's see. So Matt G in chat. First, I should say, Busch Light. If you're not drinking Busch Light, you should go fuck yourself. It's the best light beer. But I mean, being the best light beer is like being the best water. You know what I mean? Anyway, so Matt G says in chat. Regarding Sandhagen, he thinks it's really fun showing of Cory's lead hand alternating between jab and hooks. Really love how he used it in combination. Dude, that's a great call. Because I feel like that and the feinting of Cory is going to be a big problem for TJ. TJ hasn't really fought a ton of dudes who fainted at all, really. Now I'm thinking back on it. Like, very little of the dudes TJ has fought faint. Maybe Dodson, but like Dodson doesn't even, especially back then, didn't really faint that much. Sunsell, some fainting, but not like a ton. But fainting behind a jab at range, especially with pressure, I think could very much fuck up TJ. Especially, as you said, adding in hooks. I think that's going to be very interesting. And then, theoretically, Tyron... This is the saddest shit of all time. Theoretical Tyron Woodley versus Michelle Pajeda breakdown. Sunsao, I think, is probably the one who fainted the most, and that's one of the dudes who gave TJ the most trouble until TJ realized he can just wrestle him. Tyron Woodley versus Michelle Pajeda. I mean, sadness. It's probably going to end in DQ via Michelle Pajeda backflip stomping on his head. That would be my first pick, probably. Second pick would be... Oh, God. Tyron Woodley would get fucking Anthony... Well, he would get Showtime kicked, wouldn't he? I honestly think Tyron Woodley might get fucking Showtime kicked in that matchup, and I really hate you for that, Matt. I'm pretty positive, because he's going to back up to the fence, and what's Michelle Pajeda going to do against the fence? That's almost a guaranteed Showtime. That's terrible. They should not make that fight. Let's see. Other questions from Matt. Aside from Cejudo, who's the last non-pure counter-striker TJ fought? Joe Soto. Maybe. That's a good question. I'm trying to feel like Dom Cruz's game isn't necessarily counterfighting, but it is throwing out bullshit to get you to a point where he can counterfight. So I feel like that, like, it still falls in that category. Boy. Yeah, that's a really good question. And even Cejudo, like, did, like, refuse to engage until he realized he was getting fucked up really bad. And then he just dug to the body and head over and over and over again until TJ died. It's going to be interesting. I feel like a lot of the fights on this card will be interesting. I'll talk a little bit about these two. Also, I should mention, I've done zero tape study because Chris and I figured out what day we're recording, like, I'll say 35 hours ago, maybe. But I have heard a decent amount of breakdowns on these, and I am familiar with most of the people. Kyler Phillips versus Hoyam Paiva, whose name I feel like I say different every single time. I think it'll be really interesting. I think Kyler Phillips coming out of the MMA lab is a problem. I mean, his performance against Song Yadong was super solid. No, 100%. Counterpunching off feints does count as counter-striking. That's why originally I was going to say Dom is, like, not a traditional counter fighter, but, like, his whole game is set up to get you to miss or fuck up and then to counter that opportunity. So, so that's why I wasn't really counting him. But, Hoyam Paiva, let's see. Hoyam Paiva's last win was over Zumagulov. I don't know why I said Zumagulov that weird. That was Usman Masvidal in July of last year. Went over Mark De La Rosa before that. Yeah, man, I don't know. Who was he fought against? Kai Kara France. But that was a split decision loss that he did pretty well in, but none of that was because of his striking. I think Kyler Phillips is going to probably box the face off of him, if I'm being honest. I just think he's going to be able to stick at range and shut down takedown opportunities with footwork and jab the fuck out of him. Let's see. Darren Elkins taking on Derek Minner. That's a weird fight. That is a very weird fight. I almost don't know what to do with Darren Elkins at this point in his career. Like, man, if you're getting that much punishment in every single fight, it's just so unsustainable. These aren't real people, says Matt G in chat. I mostly agree. I think Darren the Damage Elkins is a caricature at best. I'm not convinced he exists in the real world. I mean, the tattoo alone, like, unless he joins the band Korn, and then I think I'm back on board as him being real. Like, if he says, "Oh, I'm friends with Jonathan Davis," I think I 100% believe Darren Elkins then as being a real person. But until then, I think he might just be pure fiction. Derek Minner, I honestly think Derek Minner is probably going to have a pretty good night against Darren Elkins. I can't consistently pick Darren Elkins to do anything but eat damage and try and wrestle through it. And against anyone who can wrestle, that plan works badly, generally. And he can no longer just sustain damage like the Mirsad Bektic fight, where he just eats 3 rounds of damage and head kicks somebody as they're dying from cardio exhaustion. Because Darren Elkins is generally the one dying from cardio exhaustion after a round and a half. So, yeah, that's probably about how I'm feeling about that one. Here, I should pull up some odds, right? It's been a hot minute since I've done this shit. Best fight odds. Jesus, definitely been a minute since Chris normally does this, because I literally haven't been to the site on this computer yet. Oh, also, I'm on a new computer setup. Hopefully it's a little bit clearer for you guys. Not probably quality-wise picture and all that, but like consistency of stream and all that shit. Because it sure is better on my side. I'm not going to lie. Yo, I'll tell you right now, do not wait for a fucking price drop on GPUs. If you are, just buy a pre-built. I eventually got lazy. Like, I got so tired of waiting for price drops on GPUs that I just got a pre-built. I got a, what was it? CyberPower, I think, something like that. One of those fucking pre-built PC brands. I think it's through Best Buy or some shit. But yeah, 3070, and this shit's killing it. So I recommend it. It wasn't too bad either. It was like, I think 14 for a 3070 and like very dope processor and all that shit. So not too terrible, especially considering graphics card prices right now. Anyway, well, quick look at odds since we haven't been looking at them. Cory Sandhagen, who should I go with? Odds brought to you by Seamus, as Chris would say. I don't care. All these fucking betting sites suck. I'll go with the one you guys know. I'm not gonna say what it is, but you know what it is. It starts with a number and a currency. TJ Dillashaw is a plus 170 to a minus 200. Cory Sandhagen, that sounds about right to me, mostly because of the layoff. Kyler Phillips is a minus 280 to a plus 240. Helen Paiva, that sounds about right. Actually, that sounds a little wide, but not too bad. Darren Elkins is a plus 140 to a minus 160. Derek Minner. Yeah, that sounds about right. I also feel like that might be a little wide, but also, I mean, I don't know how much confidence you can possibly have in Darren Elkins right now because this feels like a fight where he has to win wrestling exchanges, and I don't know that's a fight that I would put any kind of serious investment in. Adrian Yanez versus Randy Costa, the Zohan. First off, worst nickname. What's worse, the nickname or the movie? They're both fucking terrible. Also, does this fight not have odds? Or am I just losing my mind? Oh, there it is. Let's see. I mean, so here's the thing. Adrian has the win over Gustavo Lopez with the counter right in third, and the win over Victor Rodriguez. Randy Costa has the wins over Journey Newsom and Boston Salmon. I don't know why. It must just be finishes is why everybody's so high on Adrian Yanez. I would lean towards Randy Costa in this, just off of experience alone. I don't know. Wait, actually, no. See, I was gonna be a little nervous if Adrian Yanez had a more established submission game. Since Randy Costa did lose that RNC in Holloway Poirier 2 against Brandon Davis. But Adrian Yanez does not have subs, or at least not on his record. And again, zero tape study going into this, so I'm just going off of the vague memory of what I've seen of them. But split decision lost to Miles Johns. I could see Adrian Yanez winning this decision. But if it gets a finish in the first round, I think it might be Randy Costa. I think this is probably going to be a banger as long as it lasts. Also, any lows on MMA guys is kind of tough to pick against. So, yeah, exactly. Matt G in chat saying Costa for sure. I am 100% on board. And also, Matt G, if you want to place a wager, I believe Costa right now is a plus 190 to Adrian Yanez's minus 210. So, I I hate betting sites, but I might actually play that. That is very playable, I feel like. Huh. Interesting and weird. There must be some wrestling dynamic that I am not aware of in that fight. Punahele Soriano taking on Brendan Allen. Sorry. Unfortunate name. I wonder if he's homeless cat. Let's see. You got the win. Soriano has the win over Todorovic, rather. I believe that's what the fucking accent over the C means. Back in January with the round 1 finish. He also has win over Oscar Pichota with the round 1 finish. And the win over Jamie Pickett in Contender Series. That's actually, that run is looking better than I remember it feeling while watching it. Oh, you know why? Is because he had that big layoff after the Pichota fight. He was off for about a year. I was going to say almost 2 years, but I'm bad at math. Let's see. Rufus Sport, Brendan Allen is coming off the win over Carl Roberson via heel hook, where he almost died in that fight and then somehow got a heel hook, if I remember right. Also, heel hooking Carl Roberson is not what I would call a confidence-gaining win, necessarily, for picking you going forward. Especially against a dude like Punahele. I for sure think Punahele is probably going to take this one. I would say probably decision. Brendan Allen's pretty tough, and he will hang in there. I don't know. Went over Kyle Dawkins and Kevin Holland, too. Yeah, but Punahele, I don't know, actually. The more I look at this, the less confident I get in Puna. But yeah, actually, I might start going Brendan Allen on this via decision. Just because I wonder whether Puna is going to be able to deal with wrestling exchanges consistently enough to not lose a decision. So I'm probably going to go Brendan Allen on that. What's up, dude, in chat? Hey, let me know how to say your name if you can, and I will shout you out. Because that font is really small and I can't quite read it. So let's see. What are the odds on that fight? Brendan Allen. Oh, yeah, it's about even. Puna is a minus 120. Brendan Allen's a plus 100. I could see that. Like, Puna definitely has the... If it's going to get finished early, it's probably going to be via Punahele. But I think Brendan Allen might tough his way out and end up getting the decision in that. I think it'll be interesting. Let's see. Mickey Gall versus... No, I just jumped. Ian Heinisch is back versus... Nasruddin Imavov. I know I've seen Imavov fight before. I have zero recollection of Imavov's fights. So that's a great sign for the UFC. When I've seen a dude fight multiple times and have zero recollection of what he looks like or how he fights. I've seen him fight 1-2 times in the UFC. Because I don't think I saw the Aries card. Muhammad, shouts out to you, my man. Let's see. Phil Hawes, he's coming off the loss of Nasruddin Imavov is, oh my god, what's his nickname? Russian Sniper. Great, I'll go with that. Russian Sniper is coming off the loss of Phil Hawes. It's not exactly confidence-inspiring, but he does have the win over Jordan Williams. Ian Heinisch coming off it was the Kevin Gastelum loss. He had the win over Gerald Mearshart, and then the back-to-back losses against Akhmedov and Dirk Brunson. Break down a jungle fight card. Yo, Matt, I actually will one of these days, I think, just because the nicknames on jungle fight cards are fucking chef's kiss brilliant. Like, I want to break down more SpongeBobas. You know what I'm saying? Fucking, or like the Michael Jordan of MMAs. I love fucking Brazilian nicknames. They're the best, especially regional Brazilian nicknames. Also, jungle fight is kind of a low-key banger. Like, it's very regional, but there's some bangers in jungle fight. Dudes throw hands on that promotion. Let's see. Ian Heinisch. I'm probably leading Ian Heinisch just off of consistency of names and wrestling ability. No tape study. That would be terrible. Yo, that's gonna end up sounding racist, Matt. I'm gonna tell you right now. I feel like I'm just gonna either pick by nicknames and even then, just all the mispronunciations. This is gonna be terrible. Okay. One of these days. Here, is there... You know what, Matt? Very quickly, right now, I will see. What's the next Jungle Fight card? Is Jungle Fight even doing cards? Does Brazil still have events, or are they just all... Oh, fuck! Waleed Ismail runs Jungle Fight? I didn't remember that. No wonder. You're the worst. Hey, Matt, good news for you. Jungle Fight's been canceled since March 2020, so thank fuck I don't have to talk about Waleed Ismail. MMA podcast? I don't know what that means. Oh, there you go. MMA podcast? Racist? Yeah, no. Never ever happened, Matt. Never dude throwing up OK signs at Luke Thomas's face. Oh, God. Waleed Ismail is... You know what? I'm just going to close Jungle Fight and we're just going to move on. Because I cannot deal with fucking Bolsonaro talk right now. I'm not going to lie to you. Or Waleed talk. I feel like it's equal lies. Is Waleed an anti-vaxxer? Because he probably is, right? And he's probably vaxxed. Fucking Jesus. Mickey Gall is taking on Jordan Williams. Jordan Williams coming... What? I don't get the matchmaking for Mickey Gall ever. It's weird. Mickey Gall gets the weirdest fights. This is a dude who had 2 Contender Series fights and then lost to the dude we just talked about, Imavov. Taking on Mickey Gall, who's coming off of the loss to Mike Perry, the win over Tuari, and the loss to Diego Sanchez. I love Mickey Gall as a person. I think he's hilarious, and I really... Yeah, shouts to you, man. I really, I love him on podcasts. He's probably my favorite all-time guest on the Punch Drunk Sports podcast, which I don't know if that thing evidently still exists, but I can't listen to anything Sam Tripoli's dumb fucking ass is on. I can't do it for my own well-being. I've tried, but when you say the word Zionist that many times, but then you try and be like, but I don't mean Jews. I can't listen anymore, bro. Speaking of non-problematic people, but I don't know that. That's probably not true. Julio Arce and Andre Ewell are also fighting on this card. Dude, this card top to bottom. This is what pay-per-view cards should look like. These are all very fun fights, or at least entertaining and have some aspects to them. Also, this should probably be higher up on the card. Julio Arce coming off the loss to Akeem Dawodu, win over Julian Erosa via head kick, and the loss to Shane Moraes via split decision. Andre Ewell, Mr. Highlight, coming off the loss to Chris Gutierrez, and then back-to-back wins before that over Erwin Rivera and Jonathan Martinez. It's going to be a banger, straight up. They are absolutely going to scrap this shit out. Tiger Schulman's guys are kind of known for that with Julio Arce. And I think a lot of it, I'm probably going to lean Julio Arce in this fight, mostly because I think Andre Ewell's going to try and fight off the back foot a little bit more, and judges are not the fucking slickest when it comes to paying attention to that. I would lean definitely towards Julio Arce, just off of moving forward and throwing more, probably, which is not the way you should judge fights, but I'm also kind of banking on them not knowing what the fuck they're doing. Evidently, Sojari Eubanks is going to fuck somebody up. I don't know who the 4-0 Elise Reed is coming out of CFFC. CFFC is a notable East Coast promotion, but also East Coast has been pretty fucking shut down as far as fights, from what I understand. Matt actually might be a good source for that. Matt, you've been seeing CFFC putting on, what are the state of shows at CFFC right now? Do you know? Because they're kind of near your area, right? I know they're in the last one's in Philly, it looks like. Or at least the last one she fought on was in Philly. in 2021, and the one before that, yeah, they're both in Pennsylvania. So I guess that I thought CFFC used to do more stuff down by Jersey, but maybe I'm mistaken. Because I know they used to do upstate New York too, I think, right? Because that's where Weidman used to fight a lot. And you're right. That's where him and Uriah Hall fought back in the day. They also had a show out here a while back that I got fucked up at with some Alliance dudes, and I got cut off at a fucking CFFC show actually. Yeah, Matt says CFFC was looking to book. So yeah, I'm curious what her competition has been like coming up. I mean, she did fight. She had some. Oh, actually, okay. So her AMI record is decent. I mean, for what it is, it's an AMI record. But some people with wins that she fought. As for her pro career, she has fought someone with 4-0, 4-2, 5-2, and 6-6. Is Sajara Eubanks. It doesn't feel like a terrible matchup on paper. Yeah, Matt G says in chat that he thinks they're coming back soonish. Philly and Connecticut are the only places you can really compete. That makes sense. Shouts to Philly for never recognizing pandemics. Fucking worked out great for you in fucking 1919, Philly. Let me know how it works out in fucking 2021. Stupid fucks. God damn it. That shit makes me so mad, dude. How... None of you picked up a fucking book, evidently, in the last 100 years about the fucking plague that happened in Philly where you all died, huh? Jesus. Sorry. Me being a cranky old man. Let's see. I mean, I gotta take Sajara Eubanks, right? Like, as much as Sajara Eubanks had a tough run with the last few fights, Panicky and Zad was always going to win that fight, especially with the lead hand. Because she's just quicker, and she's always had a more educated lead hand, and her footwork is way slicker. Hey, shouts to Matt, competing there in 3 weeks. Hope you're vaxxed, my dude. Ketlin Vieira, also, that loss. I mean... Oh, shit, you're going to see Toasty. Oh, man, you gotta give Toasty all the hugs for me. I'm so fucking jealous. Toasty is low-key the coolest motherfucker in the MMA podcast sphere. Don't tell Ed though; he'll get so mad. Overall, I will have to say, I think I gotta lean Sarge just off of experience. I think Sarge, with her jiu-jitsu alone, should be able to handle that fight. But it'll be interesting either way. And then Deanna Belbita versus Hannah Goldie. I'm going to go say, I'm not going to break this fight down out of respect to Hannah Goldie's OnlyFans page. So, we're going to go ahead and move on. I do have a couple honorable mentions I should throw out there. Let's see, that I did not get to in the earlier part with Chris. Friendly Sparring Podcast, episode 21 was awesome. Juice talks about how time travel fixes everything with his co-host, and there's also some birthday talk. It's really funny. They clown on each other both a bunch, and they also pitch a shot-for-shot remake of Lethal Weapon, the entire movie series, except starring Derek Lewis and Wonderboy Thompson, which... if we can ever just even get a clip of Derek Lewis saying, I'm too old for this shit, that'll make me very happy. Protect Your Neck, episode 272 was super solid. Also, I should mention Protect Your Neck, episode 270, where we got the clip about Chaos Reigns. Shouts to Dan for that. I appreciate the tip on that. I somehow missed that the first time around, so that's very funny. Protect Neck 272 was really good, breaking down the card with Billy Quarantine, or recapping the card with Billy Quarantine and talking about Maverick versus Barber and how it's pretty rough matchmaking. Verbal Tap 466. A lot of Space Jam talk that was very funny. Also, I'm just going to tell you, you need to listen to this episode just to hear Raph do Amanda Nunes starring in Space Jam alone. Because it's honestly my favorite bit, maybe. I might actually... You know what? I'm actually moving that up to a catch just because of how fucking good that bit is. Bugga Bunny... it's so good. Should really go check it out. Let's see. Heavy Hands, episode 378. It was a lot of fun talking about Dillashaw Sandhagen and how a lot of this matchup... Like, stuff like pressuring this matchup could really work for either person. Depending on how they utilize it. And I just thought it was a really interesting breakdown. Also, they talk about Kyler Phillips and his impressive outboxing performance against Song Yadong. And then on the Patreon bonus for July 21st for Heavy Hands, they talk a little bit about the card, or they talk a little bit about fights, and they recap some stuff. Talk about how Macy's being set up to get steamrolled by Miranda Maverick, which I 100% agree. They talk about Misha's win over Renault. Talk about Gamro's Insta Kimura on Stevens. They talk about the run of good karma and nice guys winning in MMA lately, which I feel like Conor Rebush 100%. I feel like he drinks all of us. So look for wife beaters to very soon win everything. And then Tom Feely also came on at the end of that episode to recap 264, and Connor teased that there will be a commentary with Kyle McLaughlin, not that Kyle McLaughlin, our favorite Kyle McLaughlin, for some boxing commentaries, which I am super hyped for, because as you guys know, more Kyle in everything is our motto over here. Yeah, Muhammad in chat saying that Corey will smoke Dillashaw. I think unless TJ's wrestling and his chin are at least as good as when he left, if not better, I think it's going to be a very long night for him for sure. I think we all ended up on round 2 KO for Corey. I don't like the way Dillashaw's going to dip in combos, and I don't have confidence in Dillashaw's cardio. And I think it's going to make him kind of panicky. Well, first off, Matt, if you spelled his name correctly, Connor might have you on. But you guys spell it like McGregor. I feel like that's strike number 1. Strike number 2. I feel like Connor secretly hates us, so you might be we might be part of the tainted pool of this show at this point. So I don't know. God, we are straight ghosted by Connor, which is kind of how I like it. I mean, with his hot skyline chili takes on Twitter, I don't know how I feel about it. Let's see. CME episode 460 was really solid about how it's smoky in Montana. Also, CME Patreon live chat for July 21st is really solid. They also talk a bit about the infamous War MMA promo package that Esther Lynn did, which also was TJ Santis was the one who called War MMA back in the day for a little MMA podcast reference there. And then lastly, Best Game of My Life, episode 39, Boo Boo guest, Shasta Rodrigo del Campo. Apologies for not rolling my R's the way I should. But Rodrigo is covering the Olympics currently, and they talk about how Fernando was able to go to Vegas and get vaxxed. And talks about getting sick and having to leave after the first fight. It was an interesting episode, and I always like Fernando Rodrigo on there. And yeah, it was cool. Yeah. Muhammad in chat saying he agrees, second round head kick or another flying knee. Yeah, that was kind of what we came up with, is like, either TJ slips into something that like slips the wrong direction and gets caught with something like either a head kick or a hook, or like he ducks his head and runs right into a knee. It's kind of how we're feeling too. But I'm actually starting to lean a little bit more towards third round, just because I think TJ's going to slow down more. But really, it matters. It depends on how much TJ tries to pressure early, especially with the wrestling, because I feel like he might gas himself with wrestling early if he really tries to go hard at it. And I do feel like that's his best way to win. So, kind of a do or die kind of setup for him, to be honest. So, I think we'll wrap this here, since I have rambled on long enough after Chris. Yeah, I think we covered most of it. You guys in chat, Matt, Mohammed, you guys got anything else before we get out of here? While I sip this beer out of my sweet co-main event podcast koozie. Oh, in the meantime, while they're responding, I will say some honorable mentions for well-rounded stuff that I did not get to. Cisco Mode, the homie down in San Diego, whose shirt I shouted out last week, the crew member shirt, that's dope as fuck. He makes videos on YouTube. If you guys want to see like some cool California abandoned places, stuff like bunkers, or just like what's the Slab City in the middle of California, that's like, it's in the middle of the desert, and like there's not really any law there. It's kind of like commune kind of thing going on. But he has some very cool videos out there. Some videos just of like abandoned places around San Diego, like the old there's an old abandoned theme park that they went to, stuff like that. And he just went up to San Pedro to it. I believe it was an abandoned bunker in San Pedro. But there's a giant Conor McGregor mural on it that says your wife WOIFE is in my DMs. That is very solid. I recommend you guys go watch that video. If you're watching on YouTube, we have a podcast recommendation playlist for each episode. So for episode 202, if you'll look at it, you'll see that on there. The only other stuff I've been doing, the Behind the Bastards for Steven Seagal's book is really good. Behind the Bastards is a hilarious podcast hosted by Robert Evans, and they read through Steven Seagal's bullshit-ass book, and it's the dumbest thing of all time. You should definitely go check it out. It's so stupid. Joe Arpaio, the piece of shit Arizona governor or sheriff, who basically has a concentration camp in the middle of the desert in Arizona, was like, this book. When I read this book, it seemed like the exact thing I experienced when I was working as a sheriff in Arizona. And then someone interviewed him later, and he's like, I never read that book. He literally wrote the foreword saying that, but then he also later is like, oh no, I never read a page of it. I'm a very busy man. It's the stupidest shit. I've been playing a lot of GTA 5 online. It sucks and it's weird. I don't know why I'm doing it. But I've been playing that. It's been kind of cool. They did the tuners update. I like it alright. Also been playing the game Session, skateboarding game. It's actually really dope. If you guys have $20 and you have a PC that has a decent graphics card, definitely pick up Session. It's like very tricky. It's like very sim-like, and it's not Tony Hawk. It's way more. It's like if Skate was on fucking roleplay steroids. It is very simmy, but it's really fucking fun. And then lastly, I watched what I can only describe as a fever dream last night. I did a drinking game to the Lonely Island Bash Brothers video. I didn't know this existed. I came across it yesterday, and I did a drinking game to it. Actually, no, we just straight up did a power hour to it. It's only a half hour, though, so it's a power half hour, I guess. It was aggressive, but it was insane. I think it exists on the internet. I'm not positive, because I think I might have just fever dreamed it, but it was an experience. So I recommend that, I guess. But I guess we'll wrap this here. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I'm excited for the fights tomorrow. I think they're going to be a lot of fun. And like we said with Chris, we will be back next week, hopefully Thursday or Friday-ish. And the main thing, fuck next week's card. It's terrible. The UFC card, I should say. The Bellator card, though, is a fucking low-key banger. Here, let me very quickly pull that up, because it's fucking... here, let's do a fun comparison very quick before we get out of here. UFC Fight Night next week. Uriah Hall versus Sean Strickland in the main event. Your co-main event, Sam Alvey versus Roman Kopylov. Your third on the main card, Gloria DePaula versus Cheyenne Bays. Fourth on the card, Kyung Ho Kong versus Hani Yaya. And fifth on the card, it looks like there's 6 on the main card. So you got Nico Montano versus Yanan Wu, and Brian Barrena versus Jason Witt. That's your fucking main card next weekend for the UFC. Meanwhile, in Bellator, your main card next week is fucking fire. Bellator 263, Pitbull versus AJ McKee Jr. is your main event. Mads Burnell versus Emmanuel Sanchez. You got Usman Nurmagomedov versus Manny Moore. Islam Mamedov versus Brent Primus. I always do that. And Chris Gonzalez versus Goichi Yamauchi. You also have Vanessa Porto on that card. Georgie Karakhanyan versus Kiefer Crosby. That's a fun fight. That's a much fucking better card. Yeah, should be a lot of fun, and we will definitely be covering a lot more Bellator next week than we will be UFC, so look forward to it, and until next time, everybody, we love you, fuck Nazis, and fuck racists, and go do something decadent. Yeah, oh god, I have to switch everything. Alright, man.
Liked by the sound of violence.